What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Addiction Outlaws. Today, we're going to be reacting to one of the most inspiring songs to me back when I was in active addiction. We're going to be reacting to Drug Addiction by Colicchie. Sometimes, if you're a recovering addict or a family member of a recovering addict, this can be a little rough to listen to, but it really puts a foundation down to how the addict is feeling in active addiction. And at the end of the song, it goes into finding recovery. And so it just brings it full circle. And I think you guys would really enjoy it. So let's hop on into it.
Colicchie. You see, everybody got a story to tell. Well, here's mine. My pain's deep, I've been through hell. I managed to survive, so I got a story to tell. Listen,
I want to pause it right there. And that's one of the most powerful things. If you do come out of addiction and you do survive this epidemic right now because it's the worst than ever, if you can, if you're that type of person, please go out and tell your story because it really inspires a bunch of people. That's been my passion. I'm 6 years clean now, and it's been my passion to just create and give back to as many people as I can because that's very important. Very important.
stand victorious, make the sign of the cross. Look, I'm here to be the voice for every friend I've ever lost. Let me pray as I put together my hands. I've never been ashamed to tell you the person I am. When it comes to doing drugs, I've never been a rookie, but hold up. Let me tell you about the places that they took me. I haven't showered, it's been possibly a week, and I'm so deep in a psychosis, impossible to speak. That coke is in my arm, now it's impossible to sleep. My throat's numb, closed shut, so it's impossible to eat. Losing weight's a part of my daily routine. I always use against my will, just praying I was clean. So
That's powerful. I always use against my will, just praying I was clean. That's a lot of thing, or that's something that people don't understand, right? When people see us in our addiction, they're always like, "Man, why is he using? Why can't he just stop? Why can't he just stop?" And all of the facts is, we really do want to stop, but we just continue to use against our will because it's just taking over our body. And that's something that family members really struggle to understand because they see their loved one in person, but deep down, that loved one has been overtaken by a demon, which is, the disease of addiction.
the routine I always use against my will, just praying I was clean. So nod your head if you understand what I mean. When I was growing up, I never thought that I would be a fiend ever. My life's tumultuous, it's never getting better. Another abscess from my arm is getting severed. My exquisite vision, depiction of dereliction, livid living conditions, malicious on a mission. All these green tree cops, look, they all know me by my first name. Paramedics had to revive me, this ain't a game. I want to
Pause right there. If you have ever overdosed or known somebody that overdosed and they have survived, you're a walking miracle because nowadays, especially with all this fentanyl going around, all it takes is just a tiny bit, man, and they can't even bring you back. That stuff is so deadly. I'm getting chills talking about it. So shout out to everybody who's, overdosed and survived and made it out to tell that story, man, because it's very powerful.
same clothes for like the last 10 days. And look, I want to do better, but I don't know a different way. Completely all alone, I'm sitting in this room. I empty out the bags, brown liquid in the spoon. I have to do a lot, can no longer do a little. The water's been added, I place the cotton in the middle. I'm sucking every drop up into this plastic.
See, this guy, man, he goes into such detail about the process of using just now. And you could just listen to what he said, the brown liquid in the spoon, I placed the cotton in the middle. Like he's getting into very detail because that consumed our life for so long. I was an IV user as well, man. And it's just when you get clean, the minor details like that is what you really think about. And that's what really can bring you back into addiction is thinking about, oh, just seeing the cotton in the spoon, seeing the blood pull back in the syringe. Like those are the type of triggers that can really bring people back into active addiction, right? And if you don't figure out a good way to cope with those, it'll haunt you forever for sure. Powerful verse.
I have to do a lot, can no longer do a little. The water's been added, I place the cotton in the middle. I'm sucking every drop up into this plastic devices. I am tying off, I'm trying to find a decent vein to strike. I shove it ever so gently up underneath my skin as I'm pulling back the plunger to this blood in the syringe. I push it.
One more thing, I don't know if if any addicts are watching this, they can relate to me. When I first got clean, like the first few months, man, every time I would like get in the shower, it's hot and steamy, and I would look down and just look at my veins and touch my veins. Like this thing was so powerful. in the early days of addiction, like anything like that, even smells, certain smells would, just bring back bad memories. It's just insane what this thing can do to your mind, man. And that's really why I want to make this video and have people watch this, is because this is so powerful. This video can be hard to watch because it is so graphic, but it is so powerful if you listen to the verses, and also in the end when he, tells you about him finding recovery. It's beautiful.
Get in and try to drift away to heaven. But criminals like me, that's never the place that we're headed. The guilt, shame, remorse, and regret I never address. And I'm a mess from all this pain and this anguish. I'm filled with stress, overdoses. I'm emotionally broken, this ain't a joke. I'm smoking on a Newport, I never have any hope. This is me, I'm feeling like I don't deserve more. I feel disgusted as I'm pushing on this burnt shore. Someone stole the vinegar in the midst of a blackout. Another shooting gallery, another crack house. On the
And him talking about that, just like the daily grind, right? When we're out there using, and I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate to this, like all that stuff just becomes the norm, right? Just bouncing around at every different crack houses, seeing stuff happen on the streets, gun violence, violence in general, sexual violence. It just becomes, you get so numb to seeing all that stuff, and it just becomes normal. And that's not okay, right? That can really take a toll on people's minds. So that's very powerful right there.
porch, welcome to hell is on the floor, man. I'm glancing at my arms and all I ever see are sore tracks. I'm feeling filthy, dirty needles with the orange caps peeking out the window. Someone whispers, lock the door latch. We're blasting off, departing from this mothership. I look around as others search the carpet for another hit. Crest, whitening strips and Mach 3s. I'm on a suicidal mission till these cops try to stop me. We boosted every day, selling steaks for half price. Any dream I
Boosted every day, selling steaks for half price. Bro, I can't tell you how many times we used to do that back in the day, man. We used to go in the grocery stores. We used to go on like grocery store tours, man. We would, set out a map of how many grocery stores were in the area, and we just make a trip, man. We would come out, stuff steaks down our pants, come out and go sell them um, to anybody that would buy them, right? We would post it on the Facebook Marketplace, and we had a meat business, right? Where we just go in and steal all the meat from the stores and sell it to anybody who wanted it for a damn good price. So that was a good business for a while.
ever had was shattered by glass pipes. Glass rose, devil got me in his lasso. Enter the gates of hell and I didn't even have a passcode. I'm hard-headed, I would never learn my lesson. You know the drill, commit a crime and get arrested. The misery never ends, I spend another week in jail. I don't have friends, family never paid my bill, so I would...
He don't, every time he got locked up, he says, nobody would pay his bail. People cut him off, right? And that's the point where I got to also when I would get arrested, because I got arrested so many times, right? They just gave up on me, right? They would just say, "Well, he's back in jail again. At least he's not on the street getting high," right? So when I was in jail, they felt safer. So it's just crazy.
Withdraw and kick on that concrete floor. I feel I've had enough, but my body is screaming more. The food is horrible, but I haven't eaten in days. No reason to call home, cause I got nothing left to say. I'm tired of this jail, I don't ever
And
wanna
also, shout out to anybody who's came off of opiates or anything in jail. That takes a warrior, man. Everything's cold. It's all concrete, bright lights all the time. No comfort meds or nothing. So shout out to anybody who's ever went through that in jail and came through it. That could be the roughest thing to go through. And it also sucks. He said he doesn't call home because he's got nothing left to say. That's a terrible position to be in when you get locked up at your most vulnerable point and you can't even pick up the phone and call your family because they don't shut you off of everything, right? The last time on my last run, my family even put out restraining orders on me because they didn't even feel safe when I was around. I was a messed up individual, and just a vulnerable place. But I'm cracking up talking about it because that was some rough stuff to go through this last time.
prison. Look, I'm tired and exhausted from this life that I am living. I would get a couple days clean and say that I was done. But every time I got released, I was back on the run. It's back.
Number one thing, man, people go to jail, get locked up, get them a few days clean. They're like, all right, man, I'm going to get out. They got that jailhouse religion. They're going to get out and be clean, right? And as soon as you hit that world, man, as soon as you hit them streets, you're gone right back to it. Don't know why it's like that. Because in jail, there's no recovery, right? You lock a dog in a cage long enough and you kick him, he's going to bite you. So, just, getting those few days clean, saying I'm gonna do it, and getting back out of jail and just running, picking up right where you left off. It's crazy how that repetitious cycle will just grab you, man, and you can't get out of it. You just can't get out of it.
Back to thieving, lying, robbing, and ripping and running. These problems, I don't solve them. I'm crippled and sick to my stomach. I hang with prostitutes and these deadly degenerates. I'm homeless for the moment, but that's really quite irrelevant. The only thing that matters in life is my next high. I gotta be willing to change and give it my best try.
Facts, man. The only thing that matters in life is my next high. And that's a lot of things people don't understand. Like, we want to quit when we're out there. We want to do this and we want to do that. But the only thing that matters in that moment is finding or, planning to where our next hit, our next shot, anything is going to come from. That's all we think about. That's all that's consumed in us, right? You go to sleep thinking about it. You have dreams thinking about it. You wake up thinking about it. That's all that matters is your next high, because you never want to run out. And then when you have a plentiful amount of drugs, you're still thinking about that because you're like, oh, well, these are going to run out. You're still planning and still planning. And that leads to just staying in crime, staying in trouble. And it's just a vicious, vicious cycle, man.
The moment, but that's really quite irrelevant. The only thing that matters in life is my next high. I gotta be willing to change and give it my best try. I'm a servant and this heroin's my king. I'm feeling like a slave as I dangle from these strings. I'm just a marionette, I'm staring at death as I'm carrying regrets that are just tearing through my flesh. We're dealing with a topic we're so careless to neglect. We're dealing with a dilemma leaving every parent stressed. I'm so sick and tired though of being sick and tired. But then it finally happened, motivated by desire.
Boom. He was so tired of being sick and tired, and that's what it takes to finally make a change. That's what it takes to finally be able to say, you know what, I'm done, man. I'm just tired of this repeating circle. Everybody around me shut me off. I have nobody to turn to. I have no support. When you get out, you're going to be homeless. You ain't got nowhere to go. It's a terrible feeling. And that's the position I was in as well. I was homeless in multiple different states, locked up in multiple different jails and prisons. It got to the point where I just threw my hands up and, I got to give it my best shot, man. Either I'm going to do this or I'm going to die, right? And at the time of me getting clean, the last time my wife got pregnant, and that was just the icing on top to help me, pull me out of, you know, that dark, dark place I was at.
I hit this point, I wanted to change. Enough is enough. My efforts been exhausted and I'm tired of being stuck. My faith is never blind and my future I barely see. But overnight was open-minded, I had this moment of clarity. So it begins and it's essential, I believe. Cause if it worked for you, then it just has to work for me. Through all this pain, there's gotta be a positive message. I talked about the past, now let's talk about the present. I'm no longer living that way, for me it's a blessing. But with one bad decision, I am back in that obsession. And
Ooh, powerful, powerful. And that's something you got to keep at the forefront of your mind. With one bad decision, you're back in that obsession, right? It's a daily fight when you get clean. I'm getting chills talking about this, man. It's a daily fight every day, right? You can't sit, and like I was saying earlier, where I was looking at my veins and early recovery and stuff. You obsess about that for just 1 minute long enough, and that's all it takes. You can be right back out there on that circle, man. So you got to change everything in your mind and be mentally prepared for warfare for the first, year or two in your recovery. Those are going to be the hardest times you go through. But if you could do that, man, anything's possible. If you can overcome those obsessions, recovery is possible anywhere, man.
03 was diagnosed with hepatitis C. I utilize the bad, it's always been the fuel for driving me. And then you ask me, why do I give it my all? I'm not trying to see rest in peace on my Facebook wall. I got clean in 05 and started rapping. I started touching lies, I never thought that this would happen. This shit today, trust me, it isn't heroin. It's killing everybody in the comments are disparaging. No one cares or gives a fuck that I'm clean. For them, another deadly overdose is just something to see. Look,
And that's a shame, man. That's a shame. Everybody out here, they see addicts and they're like, well, they're just the cause of the problem. No, man, that's a bigger root of the problem, right? People are out here dying. Yes, they're an active addiction, but people need help, man. People need help, and people need to see hope, and people need to see other people that's been down that road being able to reach out, and they're successful now, right? They want to see that. They need to see that, and they need to surround themselves with people like that. And if the world would open their eyes and stop downgrading addicts and stop calling them pieces of shit, right? It'd be a way better place, man. Addicts are some of the most mentally tough, recovering addicts are some of the most mentally sound and strong people, right? I've been around a lot of places, I've met a lot of people, and addicts are some of the best hearted people, smartest people I've ever met, and some of the strongest relationships that I've ever been able to form. I'm super grateful for my past. I don't regret anything that I did, because if I do, it wouldn't make me the man I am today, where I'm 6 years clean. I just bought my own house. I got a beautiful son. I got a beautiful family, and I would not trade that for the world.
No one cares or gives a fuck that I'm clean. For them, another deadly overdose is just something to see. Look, I pay attention to every post that I read as you were sitting there judging in front of your iPhone screen, talking about these dying.
Use those people that judge as motivation, because when you get clean, you're going to have a bunch of haters, right? They're just going to be sitting there waiting on your downfall. They're going to be saying, oh, well, he's clean now, but, we're just waiting on him to fuck up again, waiting on him to go get high. He's just doing this for a little bit. He's done it a lot, right? He'll get clean for a couple of days and he'll be back out ripping and running. If you use that as motivation, you're going to have to use that as motivation, because if you don't, it will bring you down and it will send you back out there. So always use, those haters as positive motivation in your recovery.
Addicts and how they are worthless, and if they put a needle in their arm, then they deserve it. But that's someone's.
And let me tell you right now, if you put a needle in your arm, you're not worthless. Everybody deserves a chance. Nobody's worthless if they put. Addiction does not discriminate. It could be you next. It could be your father next, your mother, anybody. It doesn't discriminate. So for people judging other addicts, it's disgusting. People need to open their eyes and stop hating, man.
I read as you were sitting there judging in front of your iPhone screen, talking about these dying addicts and how they are worthless, and if they put a needle in their arm, then they deserve it. But that's someone's mother, someone's uncle, someone's daughter, and that's someone's aunt, someone's son, and someone's father. As I rap, the shit is giving me chills, and I'm speaking off experience. That's how I know it's real. These ignorant motherfuckers will say it's not a disease, and look, I really don't care. You can believe what you believe. I don't care to argue. I don't gotta give you proof. Listen, I was taught you don't gotta defend the truth. And curable.
Facts. There's gonna be people out here to say addiction ain't a disease. It's just a mindset, right? You're not mentally strong enough. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Addiction is one of the strongest diseases you can ever get. It's just wrapped you. It's taken over your mind, body, spirit. Like you can't control it, man. You could try so hard and it just pulls you right back. It's disgusting. It's nasty. And it's the hardest thing to overcome, but it is possible 100%.
Aggressive and fatal unless arrested. I'm expressing aggression with every sentiment confession. Once a junkie, always a junkie, you're boring me. The last time I checked, there's one ultimate authority. I'm sick of these remarks and opinions from all these critics. Cause if you've never lived it, then trust me, you'll never get it. Be quiet, you're not allowed to speak about it. If you've never lived it, then you're not allowed to speak about it.
Powerful, man. You got all these people out there preaching to you. They've never experienced nothing. They couldn't walk a mile in your shoes, and they're trying to sit there and tell you how to do recovery when they've never even smoked a cigarette, right? They've never had any kind of addiction. It's, man, those people never cease to amaze me, man. If you don't know what you're going through and you don't know what somebody's been through, then you don't need to be sitting there trying to tell them what to do, right? 100% fact. 100% fact. Because addiction is something you don't want to mess around with. You can say one thing that can fuck up a lot of stuff. So you got to be very careful with addicts early in recovery, because they're so vulnerable, and they're trying to rebuild themselves. So any little thing you could say that's not the truth can have very serious consequences.
How often you forget the only time that you should ever open your mouth is to eat a dick. Everybody is dying, it makes me sick. This isn't an epidemic, this is more like an apocalypse. So when I struggle, it's only right that I fight. And my experience recites on how that diamond saved my life. Look, you don't got a clue what I've been through. When I was at my worst, you couldn't walk a mile in my shoes. I survived a lot, so it's only right that I smile. When I'm aware of my surroundings, I'm no longer in denial. I'm blown away by every message that I get. It gives me motivation. It's the reason I never quit. We gotta do this together, we must trust. There's no you, there's no me, there's just us. I'm doing.
Powerful, man. There's no you, there's no me, it's just us. 100% true. In recovery, you gotta have each other. You gotta have a support system to lean on, because you by yourself was your own worst enemy for however long you were out there in addiction, right? You by yourself is not a safe place to be when you're trying to rebuild yourself, when you're trying to find new coping mechanisms, when you're trying to find that support, right? You got to surround yourself with people that have been there, that can tell you how they've dealt with a situation when it arose, right? Those are key players to your recovery.
Doing this with courage, I'm doing this with pride. I'm doing this for every single friend that's ever died. I dedicate this song to anyone that's lost a loved one. So live your life, cause tomorrow may never come. Be grateful for your past, embrace it, don't get embarrassed. Every day there is more children growing up without their parents. I felt pain, look, I'm not afraid to cry. My life changed once I was willing to try. I've been given many chances, now it's truly do or die. I'm doing what it takes so my daughter will never see me high. I'm doing what it takes so my daughter will never see me high.
Damn, that gives me chills. That's the song, but man, doing what it takes so my daughter will never see me high. If that's what it takes for y'all to put it down, and that was one of my biggest motivations. Is like I told y'all when I got clean this last time, my wife had just got pregnant, and I made it my mission. I said I do not want my son to see how his father used to be. I don't want my son to see that his grandparents had restraining orders on his dad because he couldn't control himself, man. That was some of the man. That was such an eye. I'm so grateful for my family and so grateful for the situations that I've been through. You know, looking back now, man, I would not change anything for the world. So I just wanted to bring this to you guys, man, because it's such a powerful song. Sometimes it's hard to listen to, especially if you're still battling those demons. But this is a great song to look back on after you've been in sobriety a little while and just remember. The number one thing is never forget where you come from, right? Don't get clean and start being successful and then turn into one of those, you know, just people that put down other addicts, that just a hypocrite, right? You don't want to turn into a hypocrite. You never want to forget where you come from, because once you get complacent in your recovery, you better watch out, because you're two steps away from slipping back into addiction and being right back where you left off. So I hope y'all got something out of this, man. Please consider subscribing to the channel. There's going to be a lot more where this come from. Tap that little like button on the way out. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any more uploads. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay sober. We'll see y'all later.